Our president-elect has an interesting new idea on how to inspire more American patriotism, and he's taking this idea not from American history, but you might recognize it from some other historical examples around the globe. He said this in an interview, I believe it was with the Washington Post. He said, "Being a great president has to do with a lot of things, but one of them is being a great cheerleader for the country. And we're going, George W. Bush was a great one of those. And we're going to show the people as we build up our military. We're going to display our military. That military may come marching down Pennsylvania Avenue. That military may be flying over New York City and Washington, D.C. for parades. I mean, we're going to be showing our military." Well, I thought, surely this is a fake, this is an onion piece, that he's calling for more tanks rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue. But he really said this.
But to be fair, Kim Jong-un agrees.
He does, he does. Okay, so I have a little bit of information. We want to be fair, and so my instinct is obviously, apparently Donald Trump has printed off some sort of checklist for fascists, and he's like, oh shit, I didn't get to the military displays yet. But to be fair, dictatorships and authoritarian states are not the only ones that do these military parades. France stages one every July 14th to mark Bastille Day. India holds one every January 26th for Republic Day. And Mexico puts one on every September 16th to mark its independence. And you might be familiar with, in Russia, they do these every year.
Oh, then I'm in. I'm in.
They are.
Okay, whatever Russia does.
The last one, I believe, was 9,000 troops, jets and tanks and all of that before a speech by Putin.
And you know what happened? Did you see the end of that parade?
I don't remember the end.
They rolled right into Crimea.
Did they really just straight off of it?
Yeah, they just kept on going.
There you go. Now, we have had something like this sort of in America, but you have to go back to 1991. Following the first Gulf War, General Norman Schwarzkopf, who commanded U.S. forces in that war, led a procession of 8,000 troops in combat uniforms, Bradley fighting vehicles, and M1 Abrams tanks that passed by a reviewing stand holding President George H.W. Bush and administration officials. Although even that, coming at the very end of a war where we ostensibly won, at least for a little while, there was a lot of concern in the press that this is not what we do in America. There are troops in parades. There will often be some troops. And the point of it is that amongst many other displays, you show some troops and people get to scream out and cheer like, yay, we appreciate you. It's not to overwhelm you with our military might, to sort of cow you into accepting what's going on because, oh shit, look at all these tanks and soldiers. This is scary stuff.
So, a couple of things. As John pointed out, like I went to a 4th of July parade the other year in Freehold, New Jersey, where my parents live, and there's a great old Korean War veterans, Vietnam War veterans, and you know, we all clap and it's wonderful, and we wave the flag and eat hot dogs, and everybody loves it. And then the fire truck comes by, and my nephew's a fireman, so we wave at him, and that's America. God bless, right? But when you do the goose-stepping military parades, what message are you sending and why are you sending it? So one thing that you could be sending a message to is your neighbors. We're coming for you. The Sudetenland looks interesting, right? That is one message you're sending. And that's why Kim Jong-un does it in North Korea all the time. Like South Korea, if you come over here, I'm going to mess you up, okay? That's the message that they're... Second message that you're sending is to your own people. You better not resist, because I have this at my disposal.
Yeah.
Now, for all the guys who've been saying about the Second Amendment, it's to protect us against the government, man, the overreach of the government if they come for us. Yeah. You know what governments who overreach do? They do giant military parades where they roll their Abrams tanks through your streets to let you know who's in control.
Yeah.
So if you're a conservative, like I know like you want to get a little jingoistic, and I at times am jingoistic, right? And I love the country and stuff, but this is not the right way to do it. It's what you've been campaigning against for a long, long time.
Yeah. Yeah, look, best case scenario, and I do, although conservatives will never once give me credit for this, I do try to understand where they're coming from. Best case scenario, they want to have pride in something. And I think that a lot of people will find just blindly having pride in our military, which is, it's a $600 billion a year military. It is amazing. It's the best in the history of the world. To simply see it and say, oh, oh, I was worried about America and all these things that make me insecure, but we have a great military. And as long as we have that, it doesn't matter if there's incredible injustices going on around the country. I think that people are going to love it. People are going to love these things. They'll hate when they see it happen in Pakistan or in India or even in Russia, theoretically. But when they see it here, there'll be no cognitive dissonance. It is amazing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it will probably serve to distract, which is part of the point that Trump's is trying to make. And finally, for all of you who voted for him because he said he's going to stop us from getting into messes in the Middle East and other parts of the world. Remember how much he criticized the Iraq War? It was a mess. We should have never gone there. I said we shouldn't go there. I was the one guy who was right about not going there because he's against militaristic adventures. And there's
even though he really wasn't.
No, of course not. But and this goes to prove it. So there's a strand of Republicans who totally agree with that. They don't want to be in a mess in the Middle East. There's a huge portion of libertarians who don't want that. Well, especially if you're a libertarian, you should not want this giant military rolling down your main street going, look at me, right? And where's the next military adventure? So that's the direction this is going in. As usual, hypocrisy from Donald Trump and the opposite of what he promised in his campaign. You can help build independent media. We're now doing fundraising to get 4 new investigative reporting teams out there and be the watchers on the wall. We're not going to let Trump get away with anything. We're not going to let the establishment get away with anything. You help us build it. TYTnetwork.com/go. Be part of the solution.